You're on it.
All right. Hey, everyone. Happy Friday, and welcome to this week's weekly wrap up for EverRise. So, I'm sure you guys have noticed this week has been a bit quieter than others as the development team is heads down in finalizing the V3 smart contract to submit to our audit partners. We are anticipating that we will be able to submit by early next week, but we're still kind of just wanting to not confirm any specific dates until we finalize some of the details on the smart contract, which we are doing over the weekend. So fingers crossed for us being able to get that in next week. One exciting thing, I did talk to the team, and I know there have been a lot of questions about like when migration NFTs from V1 to V2. And really, the plan for us is once we are live with V3 and the updated UX and UI, you'll actually be able to go into our DApp platform and claim all the NFTs you've earned so far. So with V3 will come giving you all the NFTs that we do owe you guys, since that infrastructure will be built in for the V3 NFTs. Another thing, I have seen a lot of you guys asking about, the staking exploit and what specifically happened from a technical perspective, and seeing if we would be releasing more of those technical details of what happened. I chatted, excuse me, I chatted a bit with the team, and as much as we want to share these like that level of detail with the public, it doesn't necessarily make sense for us to, especially in this case for security purposes. So we won't really be looking to share those details, but just know that, we identified the exploit, we looked at it with several security partners, we're going to be going through extensive auditing, and that this exploit will not be able to happen with EverRise V3. This is part of the reason why we are going to V3 smart contract, is for multiple facets of enhancement with regards to security for Rise and the Rise tokens. And the other thing I do want to emphasize here is, again, the priority right now for the development team is EverRise V3 and getting our staking pools back up and running. So that way anyone who has stake tokens will be able to re-access those tokens. Looking in the background, we are still looking to finish EverSwap to onboard other projects. And really that's kind of the big chunk of where a lot of our time and effort is going. The rest of the team is also starting to prepare for the migration. We're in process on new materials for our website, our white paper, our various listing partners like CMC and CG. We've also begun the process of reaching out to all the centralized exchanges that EverRise is currently on to inform them that we are going to be moving to V3 smart contract. So as we continue those conversations and get more details, we'll keep you all posted, especially for those of you guys who are holding Rise on a CEX. So that's kind of the big stroke broad highlights that I wanted to give for V3 and what's happening on that front. But I do want to take a look at this past week because there are a couple of things you need to know if you didn't already know. So first and foremost, I just want to say huge shout out to the Rise community and all of the power that you guys have on social media, especially Twitter. Big One heard you all, and I'm excited to share with, oh, sorry, lost my train of thought there. First and foremost, Big One heard you all, and I'm excited to share for those of you who didn't know, we did go live on Big One yesterday. It was pretty funny. I was actually talking to Jason about this as we were preparing for this weekly wrap up. I'm like, okay, like, when did we go live on Big One? That was like 3 days ago, right? And Jason was like, was it 2 days ago? And I looked at the date and I was like, oh my God, it was just yesterday. Which kind of goes to show a little bit of the wormhole that the space can provide. On a more serious note, yesterday, David Gockstein did step down from being our operations lead due to his need to focus on G Media. I know he did spend a good chunk of time yesterday in BC with the community, and he was very touched by everything that everyone said. If you haven't already, please shoot David a thank you note for all that he's done for EverRise. He's EverRise family and always will be. For me personally, I worked very closely with David. Anytime I had a campaign idea or wanted to put together some sort of strategy, whether that was targeted or it was a strategic partnership. I went over a lot of that in detail with David, and he taught me quite a bit. So David, if you're listening to this, thank you for all that you've done. It was a pleasure working with you, and I'm so excited to see where you take G Media. And I know that this won't be the last time that our paths cross. But yeah, so that's slightly on the more serious note, but I do want to end this wrap up on some things that you guys have to look forward to. Number one, do not forget about the Avalanche hackathon that we are doing with Dora Hacks. Number two, we are excited to share that we are doing an AMA with FTM Alerts, which is one of the biggest groups on the Phantom blockchain, next Tuesday. And then number three, I'm not sure if you guys saw on social media, but I did have the pleasure of chatting with some folks over from Chainlink, and we put together a little awesome AMA kind of deep diving into how we're utilizing Chainlink price feeds and like what exactly is EverRise and what are we building. And that video will be dropping on March 15th. So with all of that said, thank you guys so much for tuning in to our weekly wrap-ups. I look forward to doing these every Friday, and I hope you guys all have a great rest of your Friday and a great weekend. We'll be here building, and I'm excited to update you guys on what we have accomplished next week.